First Heretic, Part 2, Pilgrimage. 3 years passed after the word-bearers left Colchis behind. It was now the year 965 of the 30th millennium, and the 1,301st Expedition Fleet had sailed beyond the borders of known Imperial space. At the edge of charted stars, they found something new, something vast, a region where the warp bled into reality itself, where storms of unreality churned against the veil of the material universe. During a council of commanders aboard the flagship De Profundis, the fleet's chief astropath cried out in alarm. He had felt something emanating from the storm, not a mindless pressure or static noise, but a scream. And that scream carried a name. It called for Lorgar. The Primarch, with his limited psychic sight, confirmed it. Someone, or something, was shouting his name into the warp. A landing force was gathered. Dropcraft descended into the one patch of wasteland on the storm's edge, and there they found the tribes. The people were primitive, daubed in blood and ash, clad in pelts of flayed human skin. Their bodies bore strange tattoos, constellations of stars that mirrored the heraldry of the word-bearers themselves. When they spoke, their words were hauntingly familiar. Argel Tal recognized the language immediately. Colchisian. Vendatha, one of the 5 custodians assigned to watch the word-bearers, rejected the claim. To him it was gibberish, a mockery of imperial truth. But Argel Tal knew what he had heard. The tribe's leader revealed herself, a girl, pale and young, her eyes too wise for her years. She called herself Ingethel. She told them that their coming had been foretold, and she gave the planet's name, Cadia. Over the following week, the word-bearers studied these people. Everything about their culture echoed Colchis, as though it were an echo of the world Lorgar had once ruled. Rituals, songs, prayers, all bore fragments of the old ways. The custodians were dismayed. To them this was blasphemy, evidence of corruption. They demanded that the word-bearers do their duty and destroy the tribes. But Lorgar refused. There was truth here, he insisted, truth that he had come to find. One night, beneath the earth, Lorgar gathered with Argel Tal, Chaplain Zafen, Vendatha, and a host of tribespeople. The ritual began. 9 tribesmen were impaled on spears, their blood slick upon the stones. Ingethel danced among them, chanting words in a voice that seemed older than humanity itself. She promised revelation, that through this sacrifice Lorgar would see the truth of the gods. But the 10th sacrifice remained. Ingethel turned to Lorgar. It must be him who chose. Vendatha had heard enough. He stepped forward, drawing his weapon. The custodian denounced the ritual as heresy and moved to arrest Lorgar. Chaos erupted. Blades clashed in the dark. Vendatha struck swiftly, killing Dumos, the chapter master of the serrated sun, and felling 2 more word-bearers. His speed was inhuman, his fury unmatched. But Zafen and Argel Tal stood in his path. Together they struck him down. Zafen's bolter rounds tore through golden armor, and Argel Tal drove his blade through Vendatha's mouth. Broken and dying, the custodian fell. Lorgar did not hesitate. He ordered the body raised and impaled upon the 10th spear. The ritual was complete, and Ingethel changed. Before their eyes, the girl's flesh warped and twisted. Her skin split, her limbs lengthened, and her face became a horror of fangs and shadow. The tribes did not scream, they cheered. Ingethel, the Ascended, had returned. The demon promised Lorgar what he craved. She would show him the truth of the galaxy, but the price would be blood. Some of his sons would need to walk the path before he did. Only through their sacrifice would the way be revealed. Lorgar hesitated. He loved his sons, yet his mission demanded he learn the truth, no matter the cost. He chose Argel Tal and his 7th Assault Company. The company boarded a small vessel, the Orpheo's Lament. With Ingethel aboard, they sailed into the heart of the storm. At once, madness followed. Ingethel's presence drove men to frenzy. On the bridge, one officer murdered another, driven insane by whispers. She was moved to the observation deck, but her influence filled the ship regardless. And then the visions began. Argel Tal, Zephen, and his closest warriors, Malnor, Torgal, Dagotal, were transported through sorcery, their senses ripped across time and space. They saw an Eldar world fall to ruin as the warp consumed it, a vision of the Eldar's ancient sin, their fall into decadence, and the birth of She Who Thirsts. Ingethel told them that the Eldar had refused the primordial truth, and for that denial they were destroyed. Humanity, she warned, faced the same fate. Next, they were taken to Terra. Deep beneath the surface, in vaults, hidden even from the Astartes, they saw the truth of the Emperor's work. There lay the Primarchs in their gestation pods. There, the first Astartes gene seed was forged. And there, they learned the greatest heresy of all, that the Emperor had bargained with the gods of the warp to create his sons. He had used their power, then denied their existence. He had built his Imperium upon a lie. The revelation shattered them. Their god had deceived them. In rage, Argel Tal took his swords and smashed the Geller field generator that contained the vault. Warp energies poured through, scattering the Primarchs across the galaxy in their life pods. The moment of the great scattering. The vision shifted again. The company saw the pods crash upon distant worlds, each Primarch raised in isolation. Then the vision ended, and they were back aboard the Orpheo's Lament. Ingethel told them that they had learned enough. Now they must embrace the truth fully. The ship's Geller field must be dropped. Only then would they be remade as true sons of chaos. Argel Tal gave the order. The moment the field collapsed, Ingethel betrayed them. She turned upon the crew, tearing them limb from limb. Demons swarmed through the ship, shrieking with joy. The word-bearers fought desperately, but one by one they were slaughtered. Their bodies fell, and then rose again, possessed by demons of the warp. The 7th Company endured 7 months of torment within the storm. They fought one another for scraps of flesh. They drank blood to survive. They killed, and were killed, and rose again, their bodies now permanent vessels for the demons that shared their souls. When the Orpheo's Lament staggered back to the fleet, less than half the company remained alive. But for the rest of the expedition, only seconds had passed. Lorgar was waiting. He looked upon his sons and saw the truth. They were possessed, yes, but they were also chosen. The Gal Vorbak, the first of the possessed Astartes. Argel Tal told his Primarch everything. Lorgar listened in silence, then ordered that it all be written down, every word preserved. And then he made his choice. The survivors of the 7th Company would not be executed. They would be embraced. They had seen the truth, and through them, Lorgar would walk his own path deeper into the eye of terror. To conceal their crime, the tribes of Cadia were annihilated from orbit. The custodians were deceived with half-truths. Vendatha's death was reported as noble sacrifice, and Argel Tal, promoted to chapter master, was ordered to keep his nature hidden until the time came. Thus was born the Gal Vorbak, the first of the possessed, the warriors who would lead the word-bearers into damnation.